Welcome to ClickFunnels Radio, the podcast that brings you the latest strategies, insights, and success stories from online marketers just like you who utilize funnels to grow their business. Our mission is simple: to help you unleash the true potential of your online business by harnessing the power of funnels. Join us every week as we bring you exclusive interviews and thought-provoking discussions that will revolutionize the way you approach online marketing. Here are your hosts, Laura Demetrius and Chris Cameron.
Hey, welcome back to ClickFunnels Radio. My name's Chris Cameron, and this is a pretty special episode because we are live at an event here in Orlando, Florida, which is super exciting because we're really close to our guest, like geographically, which is really, really cool. And wanted to also bring on our new VP of Partnerships too, Ben Harris, who we're super excited to have back. It's kind of been full circle for you, Ben.
100%. So it's been really good to come back, sink my teeth into a couple things, including just kind of being the sidekick here. So I'm excited to be on. Yeah,
I love it. I mean, you're going to be handling partnerships. You're going to be handling affiliate stuff. And so what is really cool about that is one of our most consistent all-time affiliates we have with us, who's just up the road in Ormond. We're down here in Orlando with the Ritz-Carlton for WebinarCon. And Robby's also sponsoring. So I'd like to welcome on Robby Blanchard.
What's going on, Chris? How you guys doing? What's up, Ben?
What's up, man?
Doing awesome, man. This is exciting to have you here. I think it's really interesting as we talk about, especially you coming on and you as an affiliate, there's a lot of different ways to do partnerships. There's a lot of ways, like we're out here sponsoring an event.
Yep.
And I think sometimes, you know, if you get the right events and you do the right things, you can ROI an event.
Yep.
But sometimes that's really hard. Like you put money in and that's not direct money that comes back out.
For sure.
Like how do you best successfully sponsor an event and see that ROI?
Well, I think the best way to do it is you have to play a long game always. I think if you're expecting to get an ROI like on day one, I mean, you're not running a Facebook ad, you know, you're sponsoring an event. So for me, it's getting in the room, networking with people. It gives another reason to have those conversations with people you wouldn't otherwise have. And for me, it's about building a relationship first, right? If you can build a relationship, then down the line, you can do some business afterwards. But we've had good luck. I mean, with WebinarCon, it's been good, and other events we've sponsored. So, you know, because we're able to, you know, network with people. And for me, I'm always like kind of a go-giver first. Like, how can I help you first? And that's always helped me, you know, to have success with it, you know.
So what are you actually sharing with people here? You're going to speak tomorrow.
Yeah.
What is the result that you want people to take from here? Because I mean, obviously you're doing Commission Hero, and I'll get into all that in a minute, but.
Yeah, so pretty much with Commission Hero, I teach people how to make money with affiliate marketing. But the people here are running, you know, online courses and businesses themselves. So what I'm teaching tomorrow is basically 7 things that I've done in my business to grow Commission Hero to where it is. And so that's really been what I want to share, because it's like, you know, I could go on stage and just talk about, you know the promotions I have, but there's no value there, right? So it's like, how can I help people have more success? So I'm actually sharing stuff that's working in my business right now to scale up Commission Hero as a business that can help people in the audience. Yeah.
Maybe give the listeners who don't know who you are or don't know about Commission Hero, give them like a brief overview beyond what you just said of like what kind of an opportunity that is.
Yeah, so basically my background, I started in affiliate marketing back in 2015. I was a gym owner. I owned a CrossFit gym for a while, and I wanted to make money and online. I didn't know how to do it. Tried all these different things and found affiliate marketing, and specifically it was ClickBank at the time. I started running Facebook ads to ClickBank offers. Got so good at it that I actually became the #1 affiliate on ClickBank out of everybody else, which was pretty crazy. I took that success and I said, you know what, like if I can become #1, and I can teach people how to do this. And so I created Commission Hero back in 2019. And when I launched Commission Hero, I thought, maybe if 100 people join, that'd be pretty cool, right? And now we're over 15,000 people and growing. Yeah, and our students have done over 160 million on ClickBank, and keeps on growing. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Robby, this is crazy because I think you get to a point where you've done so much as far as success on your own, but it's just like Russell or ClickFunnels, where we start to really feel like the purpose is not only our own success, but the success of others. So what was that number? How many million?
So our students have done over 160 on ClickBank. Yeah.
That you know about.
That I know about.
Could be more.
ClickBank. Yeah. That's not including other networks or anything like that. And so I think that's the most rewarding thing, because having your own success is cool, and it's great to be successful yourself. But the thing that gets me up in the morning is seeing other people start to win as well. I think that to me is the coolest thing. Because if you can help other people win, I'm a big believer, the more you can help people have success, the more success you'll have too,
Oh, amen. I love the term that you used to, go giver. in this industry, you'll find people who are uniquely go-givers, and you can spot them. You can spot the people who are out for themselves, et cetera, and you're definitely not that person.
I appreciate that. Yeah, appreciate that.
It's unique. And you guys have known each other like through different stuff, you know, like how did you guys first meet?
ClickFunnels. Robby, lifetime is probably top 3 grossing affiliate that we have at ClickFunnels, probably number 2 or 1 actually. We probably looked that up off the top of my head. But even right now, to this date, we've launched a course together on ClickBank. We've promoted Commission Hero before, and anyway, done amazing things together and become good buddies and horrible golfers, or I guess I'll speak for myself, but shankers.
You guys shouldn't take me. Like, I'll be the entertainer in the wrong ways.
But with us talking about partnerships, we're at WebinarCon. You mentioned you're a go-giver. It's a relationship-oriented business. Talk about the impact that partners have made on your business as a top offer owner.
Yeah, so I think it's super important to establish those relationships and really having people be able to help and promote my offer as well, and me promoting them. That's always helpful as well. I mean, you guys have always been awesome with supporting, and whether it's indirectly or directly, and I think it's all about the relationships. Once again, it's like I never look at if I'm promoting somebody as their offer, I'm never like, oh, I sent you this many sales, you guys sent me that many sales. Like, it's never about that. It's always a long game because, and it makes a difference because in this industry, like once you start to, kind of get into it and you start to, have your own course or product and you kind of get into the affiliate space where you're having other people promote your stuff, it's a small circle, right? And it's it gets smaller and smaller the bigger and bigger you get. And so you have to realize that, and like you should never burn bridges. You should always, lead first and, with helping people out, and that's kind of how we've been able to continue to grow. And I think honestly, the other way to really kind of grow your course or business is make sure your students are getting results.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I know it's so funny because as marketers, a lot of times people think that's like a secondary thing. They're just thinking about getting as many sales as possible for the course, but it's like, well, the way you get more sales is just get results for your students, and like, that's the best form of marketing you can do for your course or program,
You brought up one thing, like you go and do these like promotions, right? We're here at WebinarCon, and this is a good event.
Yeah.
But sometimes, truly, there's duds.
Yeah, for sure.
Like 100%. You don't want to burn bridges because that gets around, but there's also names that maybe you've done stuff. We're not going to name names, but my point is, what happens when you go and pour your heart? Let's say that it's a JV swap. You go and you do an awesome promotion for these people, you get a lot, and you say, well, I'm not the guy who has to match. But what happens when you're like, hey, all right, scratch my back, and you get 3 people that show up on your webinar? How do you handle something like that? Because it happens. That's a real thing in this industry.
Yeah, oh, it does. I've been through it a couple times, more than a couple times, and you just gotta handle it like a professional. I can't control what other people are doing. I can only control myself, right? And I'm always like, I'm a big believer in extreme ownership of your success. Whether you succeed or fail, it's always gonna be your fault. And I think that I can't control what anyone else does. Like, I just make sure I can always bring as much thunder to the table as I can as a partner, a JV partner. And but yeah, you run into those situations, and a lot of times, like for me, like I'll go back and have a conversation with that person and say, hey, it didn't work out. Like, let's figure out why it didn't work out. It probably wasn't malicious. It probably wasn't something that and you kind of always lead that way, and try to figure out what happened. Like sometimes, we've had promotions even internally where like something breaks with, maybe Facebook wasn't behaving, or maybe, things happen. So it's like, how can you just figure out and dissect it and kind of do a post-mortem and go from there? But yeah, it is frustrating when it happens. But once again, like I've had times where, maybe a JV partner didn't come through like I thought they were going to, but you keep that relationship going, and then they end up coming out with a new offer a couple of years later, and then they end up coming and killing it for you,
Well, and everybody's at different phases, right?
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
3 years later might be different. Plus, if you've done a few of these, you kind of know how to navigate the space. Are there warning signs? Are there certain questions that you ask leading up? Like if you were going to jump into a partnership, you didn't know Chris Cameron, you didn't know Ben Harris, what are some of the main questions you'd ask? Like, it's easy to say, okay, what's your list size?
Yeah.
But man, all lists are not created equal. Like, what are some of the main things that you're looking for when you go do a promotion or a partnership like a JV?
Yeah, so first thing I ask is who is your audience? I think it's a big one.
Alignment.
Alignment, yeah. And I think that any offer can, if done right, you can tailor any offer to any type of list or audience, like we promoted, for example, like crypto offers or offers that are, personal branding offers that really have nothing to do with, affiliate marketing space. but we can angle it that way, right? And so that's the first thing. Second thing is, I could care less about the list size. It's more about like, hey, how many people on average do you typically get on a webinar?
Yeah, you would go straight for the results.
Yeah, because you can have 500,000 people on your thing and only have 50 people show up for your webinar. It all depends how active it is. I've had people with like a list of 10,000 people and they get 600 people on. Because they're so much more engaged.
That's super high, by the way. If you don't,
exactly. So those are a couple of things I look at, and then also I love to talk strategy as well, because when I can talk about and kind of get some insight into how they actually promote offers, I can usually tell pretty quickly. My spidey sense will go off whether it's legit or not.
Yeah, we're at WebinarCon. Like, if you're going to run a promotion, do you usually have like a metric? Like, okay, if I'm going to go and promote this, or I'm going to take my time. And we could get into auto webinars, et cetera. But if you're going to go do a live webinar, do you have like a floor? Like, is it 100 people? Is it 150 people? Well, what is it usually like? Okay, that I know I can win with.
Yeah. So the way I approach it nowadays is, in order for me to do a live webinar, I need to have at least like 200 people on.
Yeah.
Anything less than that, we're going to do just a like live type of webinar, automated webinar basically. Just because it's one of those things where, for two reasons. Number one, as a live presenter in a webinar, if you're doing it and you want to have high energy, you need to be ready to bring the thunder. And if you pop into the webinar room and there's 10 people there,
3 people,
like as professional as you are and as good as you've done this for a long time, like it's going to bring your energy down,
totally
right?
Does.
Which is going to lower your conversions. And so,
totally. And
even if you have 70 people on, like that's why if you do it like live, where you get the recording nailed down right, doesn't matter how many people on, like you can still convert really well. I also think too, like, I don't get discouraged when the number of people on the webinar is lower nowadays too, because show-up rates are always trickier nowadays. And you have to, it's all in the follow-up too. Like so many people, a lot of times the replays will clean up more sales than the actual live webinar itself.
Yeah, okay, so with replays, and you had something.
No, it's a good point, but I do have a question if we want to go back, not back, but on the partnership realm. Right now, where you said you could pick up the phone and pretty much call anybody. When you have a launch coming up, for example, let's say this March, commissionhero.ai, look it up. But when you were coming up, so someone who's watching this that is looking to find partners for their JV launch, what did you do to get on the radar of someone like an Onyx and Gall? How did you make those connections?
Yeah, so pretty much the way I would do it, well, a couple ways. Number one, I would, if they had an event or something, I would pay to go to it. That's one of the things I've learned in my journey is you got to pay to play sometimes. And so if an event is $5,000 to go to it, well, okay, here you go. I'm paying $5,000. I'm going to introduce myself, and I'm going to get in the room and talk to you. That's one thing. The other thing too is like just offering more and more help and support for people. So I've done things where for example with Onyx or other people where I've literally. I would like craft a whole email where it's just like, hey man, I was looking at your sales thing and I noticed that you don't do this. Like, here's what I do. Maybe it's helpful. So like literally just like share information.
This is the go-giver.
Right.
That great example. Hey, this is working for me. And that helps a lot too. And honestly though, like the best thing you can do to get partners' attention is have a really good offer that converts. I know that also sounds kind of obvious, but it's true. Like if you have a really good offer that converts, like you should not have an issue with affiliates, getting affiliates on board.
What's a good conversion percentage? You get 100 people on a webinar. Okay, let's just use that because it's easy math. Yeah. What's a good conversion out of that, like percentage?
Yeah, so kind of what you're shooting for is at least 10% on the webinar conversion. If you got something above 10%, if you're hitting 12, 15%, you got a solid offer. And that's kind of where you want to shoot for. And I think the other thing too is like I've also done stuff when I first started with JV partners where normally like on a high ticket webinar you're gonna do 50-50 commission, something like that. Mm-hmm. In order for me to get people to promote an offer, like I'll give them all the commission. I'll give them 75% commission. It's like, hey, do you mind falling on the sword for me, so to speak, to test this out for me? Like, I'll give you this much more commission, so you're taken care of. Like, I just use those stats and that data that I can now go to bigger and bigger fish and have them promote. And so,
smart.
So I think sometimes like people like once again playing the long game, right? It's like sometimes you gotta have someone fall on the sword for you, and that's one way to do it.
Is there okay, so lots of different ways you can do webinars. We're kind of going down that vein because we're at WebinarCon, but is there a price point where you're like, okay, I think, and I can tell you kind of like what I've experienced. I've done hundreds of these, like for Russell and other things. I kind of feel like $2,000, $3,000. Beyond that, maybe the webinar is not like a direct call to action to pay that. Maybe it's a book to call. Like, what would you think is kind of like that threshold?
I think it depends on the traffic source or who those, how those people come in, right? I think if paid traffic on a webinar, I think you're in that $1,000 to $2,500, maybe $3,000 range. You can do if it's a good webinar. If it's like current members that you have or current buyers, for sure you can do a 3 to 5K on the webinar. I think if you craft it right, you can do a higher ticket, but I also think that a lot of times that people want to have that conversation on a phone call to kind of go over those things. So like for us on our end, like for our 10K and up offers, like we schedule a call and get people on there that way. So that's probably the way I would do it. But yeah, as far as like a cold traffic, 1,000 to 3,000 is kind of where you're at.
Yeah, I agree with you. What's interesting, so we've been diving in at ClickFunnels, like Russell's doing this whole linchpin thing, which is absolutely genius. And one of the things that he always talks about is Buddy David Fry said, if you don't have continuity, you don't have a business. And we're talking about these JV partnerships, we're talking about webinars, and maybe or maybe not, you're selling continuity within this. But a lot of times I think what struggles with people in partnerships is they're going after the next promotion. Okay, now that happened. They checked their Stripe account, they had this huge, burst, or they got a big affiliate commission.
Yeah.
But then they got to go to the next promo.
Yeah.
They got to the next promo. What I love about what you've done is within Commission Hero, you've created a continuity, but also how you've built, for example, ClickFunnels in.
Yeah.
You now have built this, baked it into the cake with Commission Hero. How is that different than jumping from promotion to promotion?
Well, I think initially you got to do what you got to do to get the ball rolling. But I think for sure, continuity. So like for us, we have ClickFunnels baked into the offer. So we recommend all our students use ClickFunnels. The only reason I do that is because I use it personally, right? Yeah. And so it makes it a very easy offer, and it's very, very frictionless for people to join and do it. And then from there, it was like, we had things like, okay, well, how do I find like winning ads to model? So then we started to create a software called Spy Hero, which now people pay continuity on that. And then there's a tracking software we partner with and some other stuff, So I think that's one big part of it. And then also we do reoccurring memberships for our Inner Circle program as well. So and we actually have that a direct upsell off the webinar. So which is like a $297 a month reoccurring. So those are different ways we've kind of built up the continuity on that end. But I also think
this is integration.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, and I also think too, like continuity doesn't necessarily have to be like a membership kind of thing as well. Continuity also plays into like relationships as well, right? Like so for us, so for example, like every year we do a launch. We always do it in the same time of year, right? We're always like already, kind of planting the seed on the next year. So you have that continuity of partners as well. Yeah. And then also continuity, I think, as well is on the front end in terms of your paid traffic. Like if you're an affiliate just relying on if you're an offer owner relying on affiliates, like you're gonna have highs and lows and stuff like that. One of the things we've done really well is like we have our paid traffic running 24/7, and that is our bread and butter. And then the affiliate stuff is kind of like that, that nice dessert you get at the Ritz.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So a little bit more on this launch. If you're doing this every year, you do it usually. I think you were telling me like Easter's a little bit different this year, so maybe you're bumping it up a little bit. What do you have going on then with the launch coming up?
Yeah. So this is our fifth launch in 5 years. Commission Hero's been around for 5 years. So
congratulations!
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. It's pretty cool because I don't see a lot of you see a lot of people, they create an offer and then they move to another offer, another offer. And we've done something a little bit different. We've actually just kind of built a business. And so this year in 2024 we're doing Commission Hero AI. So basically what I've done is taken all the awesomeness that we have in Commission Hero, and then we basically kind of sat down with my team and said, hey, what are the manual stuff people have to do still, like writing their copy or creating images or running their ads, or and what can we do to really kind of help automate that process so it makes it even easier and even lower barrier of entry for people to have success. And so we created a whole software suite, with all types of AI stuff to help that happen. And so that's what Commission Hero AI is about. And so we built that up. We've integrated with more networks and more stuff. And so it's going to be pretty cool. So we've helped 160 million in sales for our students. And so I want to get to $500 million on that. That'd be the goal.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Well, all right, another question. It's 2023.
Yep.
Okay, you're running into another awesome launch in 2024. what would 2023 Robby, older, wiser, better looking, what would he tell 2019 scrappy Robby just starting Commission Hero? Like, what would you do different? If you get in the DeLorean, time machine, go back, like, what would old Robby tell young Robby?
I would have told him to lose some weight first of all. No, it's good. But no, I think, honestly, it's a good question, but I would say, I would tell him just keep doing what you're doing. But the one thing I would tell him is, like, anytime there's momentum in your business, like, you need to lean into that as heavily as possible.
That's great.
And I think that's something where I've done a pretty good job with that. But there's times I look back and I'm like, man, I left some meat on the bone here. Like, I could have leaned into this a little bit heavier or harder. And I think that a lot, because the thing is, like, when you have a good offer, you have an offer that works, it's almost like, it's like catching lightning in a bottle, right? And sometimes, everybody thinks in absolutes, right? When things are really bad, they think they're always going to be bad, right? Or when things are really good, you think they're always going to be good, right? And that's, neither one is true. And so when something's really good for your offer and, like, you got that wind at your back, like, you need to double down on it, not build new stuff, like, focus on one thing and scale it up, That would be my advice for 2019, Robby. Because I think we could be a little bit, we could have gotten to where we are now a lot faster,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, is that the same advice you'd give to somebody? I mean, obviously, going into affiliate marketing is probably the best way to cut your teeth as far as being an internet marketer.
Yep.
Is that the same type of advice you'd give somebody just starting out?
100%. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't do affiliate marketing, and specifically run paid ads to it. I think that it's the easiest and lowest barrier to entry.
Versus organic.
Versus organic, 100%. Like, I would never have, become number one on ClickBank with organic or email, or it was paid traffic that did that for me.
But does that mean ignore organic? I mean,
I would say not necessarily, but if you want to make money, and a good amount of money, if you want to make a couple bucks here and there, organic's fine. It's a long game. But most people, when they first start online, they're pretty impatient. They want to see that money come in. I was impatient when I first started, and so one thing for me I loved about Facebook and Facebook ads is I could put 20 bucks in, get 40 bucks out, and I'm like, wow, like, okay, let me do more of that. So,
let's spend some money.
Yeah. So, and I think when you first start out, I think that's the great thing, because being an affiliate marketer, specifically like with ClickBank type offers, you learn psychology because your ads have to be really good. You learn persuasion because now you're trying to get people to click because of curiosity. And then you also learn media buying, right? And those three skills there nowadays are huge.
High paying too.
I remember when I first started, I joined a mastermind. This is 2015, and everybody was doing email, right? And I remember I had created a product. It was a CrossFit product at the time. I put it on ClickBank, and I tried to get people to promote it, and nobody would promote my product because it was all weight loss focused emails. About 2 years later, they're all coming to me trying to figure out how to run their paid ads, because email can only scale so much for them, right? And so I think having the ability to run paid media, and that can change. Sometimes maybe it's TikTok becomes the next thing, maybe it's whatever. But learning that paid media as an affiliate is a game changer. And then afterwards you can do whatever you want, because a lot of people will talk about I want to be,
because you know the game.
Yeah, exactly. And people will be like, I want to do something that I'm passionate about. Well, and I always tell my students, well, make money first, then do something you're passionate about. Oh,
that's good.
And because sometimes you gotta make money online first. That's the whole point. And I think for me, affiliate marketing is one of the purest forms of having an online business, because, you always see that someone on a laptop on the beach, kicking back and relaxing, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna create my own product, and then you're slaving away at the desk, not getting any sleep. You got people, they're working for you, and for me, affiliate marketing's been that pure form, because you can do it on your own, you can do it anywhere in the world.
Somebody else already has the headache.
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
product,
Let them deal with it. Yeah, exactly.
You're just in the game of marketing.
Same thing with ClickFunnels, being an affiliate for ClickFunnels. I don't want to build a whole freaking, software company. You know what I mean? That's a lot of work. I'd rather just get the commission and do my thing.
Absolutely.
So, and so I think as an affiliate, whatever way you go, just start there. And the cool thing is too, you can start there, and a lot of people think you have to move on to something else. You don't. You can be an affiliate and make a ton of money too. So and that's the nice thing about it, is it gives you options to go from.
Well, that leads into what you're doing too. If people are wondering how to do this, obviously Commission Hero is a great way. And if you go through Commission Hero, you're going to say, hey, here's how you can do affiliate stuff for ClickFunnels too.
Exactly.
But in your role, what would you tell somebody who wants to get in the marketing game? How can they go promote ClickFunnels?
Sure. And even, I've heard affiliate marketing is the gateway drug into entrepreneurship because you were learning all the skills that it would take to when you do have an idea like Commission Hero and expertise like yourself, you knew what to do. You knew how to market it, you knew paid media. And even when learning it from the ground up, to your question, Chris, and I learned it from you, you had said when you were learning media buying, specifically Facebook ads, it's like, I don't have this yet. One thing I'm gonna do is just try one new thing a day. That's real. I'm not gonna overwhelm myself. I'm gonna put my head down because you underestimate what could happen over a year's time when you are learning and just implementing something new, because you're like, all right, what I'm doing right now is not working. Right, so I'm one step closer to figuring it out, to cracking that code, whether it's, finding an offer that works for you, finding that vein of gold throughout the, web of Facebook. But even learning that and how that can work into ClickFunnels and what makes, I guess, according to our affiliates, our offer attractive is getting that recurring commission on a monthly basis for customer service you don't have to worry about. You have no inventory needs to deliver on. We are handling all of that.
You create that continuity right there.
100%.
Yeah. And it's super sticky.
Yeah,
exactly right.
People will stay, especially having an offer like yourself. They're coming into ClickFunnels, learning how to use that as their landing page, successfully promoting ClickBank offers as the bridge page. That's about as sticky as you can make it, right? If you are successfully promoting ClickBank products, you need a bridge page to send them from, let's say, Facebook or Google, however you're running paid traffic, ClickFunnels over to the high converting offer.
Yeah.
And I actually have a question around the launch, but
I don't want
to. As an affiliate marketer, affiliates are lazy, right? We can cut it and dry, kind of like how they are.
No way.
Yeah. And with running a very successful launch like you've done for 5 years running, what are you doing to prepare for the affiliates? Are you preparing certain assets for them, awareness? What goes into that type of launch?
Yeah, it's a great question. So in the beginning, we would, because I didn't know any better, I would say, okay, like here, you guys will set up things on your end. Nowadays, we don't do that. Like we literally say, hey, we will literally set up everything for you. So we set up the webinars, we write the email swipes for them. We literally set up everything. All they have to do is
You just want their traffic.
Just want the traffic. You just hit send and we'll figure it out for you, And so, I think our launch last year, I think in one day we had over like 400 webinars running, It was like
That's 400
yeah,
across
it was insane.
the
It was
launch.
insane. Yeah, it was insane. In one day. That was just one day. And so, and we were able to do that because of some of the stuff we use, but that has been the game changer, where it just takes the friction out of someone saying yes to promoting, where 100%. It's like, because people are nice about it, but do people always want to promote somebody else's offer? Yeah, not really. Like you do it because obviously you build the relationships and it's great and everything, but you want to work on your own stuff, right? And but if someone can come to you and say, hey, listen, like, if you can promote, I'll literally have the copy done. I'll schedule the webinars for you. I'll have my support team, dropping the links in there for you. Like, we'll do everything for you. All you got to do is just hit send, and that makes it so much easier for them to want to promote. So that's been like the most important thing, because like you said, affiliates just by nature are lazy.
Yeah, I think you assume that they know the drill, they know how they're going to do it, big or small, but taking away any of that friction. Like if you're going to write an email, send an email copy, go and actually put their specific link into it and then send it to them in a Google Doc or whatever. So they literally hit send.
Exactly. And also by setting things up, everything for them, it's a great way to guilt trip them into making sure they promote too. In a nice way, because what happens is like, we've had people that were kind of on the ball about it. I'm like, oh, dude, like we literally set up all these webinars for you. We put this together for you. Like, my team's like excited about this, and so they stick with it, right? They don't half-fast it, right? Because so that's something that is kind of a side tip.
Yeah, that's actually a ninja hack right there for sure. Yeah, because then people feel obligated to. You talk about this being a small circle. Like sometimes people will just promote you because they're like, well, crud, I know I might need Robby to kind of reciprocate at some point, and so I'll do it. And especially since he's done that work, it's a great point. Like, they'll probably come in and push for you a little bit, at least do a send or two, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, you always play the long game. I've had partners where like I've literally promoted them 3 times. I don't ask anything. They say, oh, we don't do reciprocals, we don't do this. Okay, cool. Well, I'll just keep sending for you. And then then down the line you get the reciprocal back. But you have to play that long game. I think that's the most important thing. Like if you just, because I think people will understand that eventually, and they'll appreciate that from you a lot more. Because everyone's so take a lot of times, and it can be in this industry. And if you just give more than you take, like it always comes back to you.
And even back to that underestimation comment I made. You sometimes overlook, and not you personally, just in general, overlook what one partnership can do, how big of a needle mover that can make.
Yep.
So with bringing in that goodwill without expecting any kind of reciprocation pays off tenfold in the long run, because you do get that one partner that promotes Commission Hero, and it's millions for you.
Oh yeah, and you never judge anybody where they're at currently. My dad would always tell me, the people you meet on the way up are the same people you meet on the way down. So you always want to I've talked to people before that at events where they're just getting going and other people are ignoring them, and you have a conversation with them. A year later, they're making millions per month. And it's and they remember that, right? Yeah. They remember the people that took care of them. They remember the people that treat them wrongly, right? So you always want to just, be nice to everybody, and it always comes back to you. Be nice in general. Be nice and don't expect anything back. That's basically it,
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, when you do that, a lot of stuff comes back.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, listen, we could talk to you all day.
Yeah.
If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, specifically maybe it's commissionhero.ai or whatever, how do they, one, I'd love for them to know how to get involved with what you're doing.
Yep.
And then two, if you have people that would love to promote, how are they promoting the launch in March?
Yeah. So if you're interested in learning what we do inside of Commission Hero and you want to do affiliate marketing yourself, I would just go to commissionhero.com and check that out. If you want to get into to promote the date of the launch, just go to commissionhero.com/save-the-date.
Got it. We'll put it in the link.
Which is the easiest URL to remember. So, or just scan the barcode. Or just reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook. I can send you the link too. So I'm pretty active on social media too.
Yeah, seriously, you are. This guy's actually really responsive, in DMs and stuff too. Well, you're the man, Robby. Any parting words before we go, guys?
I'm all set. I really appreciate the time.
Well, and thanks for joining us too. Laura's not here at the event. We love Laura Demetrius, but Ben's subbing in here as a guest host.
Ben's all right too, yeah.
Ben's all right too. Robby'd rather have Laura here. I'm just kidding. Well, thanks guys for joining us. Awesome episode, and I'm excited to hear you talk tomorrow too.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Should be good.
Awesome. Thanks, Robby.
All right.